Hi, welcome back to part 2 of Thomas Jefferson and his second term of office. If you're watching part 2 first, my name is Chloe. Please go back and watch part 1 so you don't get too lost in it. So we are now on to Thomas Jefferson's second term in office. So this goes from 1805 to 1809. So on March 4th, 1805, he was inaugurated. In his address, Jefferson proposes the Federalist-inspired internal taxes be completely eliminated. April 26, 1805, Lewis and Clark reach Yellowstone River. For some of this information, you'll have to go back to part 1 for the beginning of it. So, April 27th, 1805, capturing Derna. The U.S. Marines and, believe it or not, Arab mercenaries capture the port city of Derna in Tripoli because we were still at war with them. June 4th, 1805, Treaty of Peace and Amityville. I keep saying Amityville. Okay. Peace and Amity in Tripoli. The U.S. and Tripoli sign a treaty ending the war. So that was a few months later. July 23rd, 1805, the British seize ships. Brits justify seizing U.S. ships per the rule of 1756. July 23, 1805, Aaron Burr arrives in New Orleans. Rumors circulate that Burr plans to divide the South, making New Orleans the capital, and there was a plot to invade Mexico. Now, if we remember about Aaron Burr, he had killed Hamilton. He had left as vice president. And he ended up going overseas. I believe it was to England. And he kind of hid out over there because a lot of people hated him for killing Hamilton. And so that was in 1801. No, not 1801. He left December of 1804. So he was over there for about a year. Not even a year, because that was December of 1804. So for 7 months, he hid out in England, or somewhere in Europe, and then he decided to come back to America. Probably one of his biggest mistakes. November 7th, 1805, Lewis and Clark reach the Pacific. The journey takes nearly 18 months and 4,000 miles. Because remember, Lewis started out in Philadelphia, and then he picked up Clark on the way. December 3rd, 1805, Jefferson addresses Congress about Florida. Publicly, Jefferson states the need to prepare for war with Spain. Privately, he tells Congress to buy the Florida territory from France for $5 million, which Congress was not too happy about. January 11th, 1806, Michigan is formed from the territory of Indiana. March 9th, 1806, building of the National Road. So the road was built from Cumberland, Maryland to the Ohio River. I wonder if that's still in operation. Might be. April 18th, 1806, prohibiting British imports. Protests against Britain for taking the ships and imprisoning sailors. So we decided, because that was, I don't know. There's more to that, so if you want to know more, I can certainly look that up and comment below and respond to you. July 15th, 1806, Pike explores the Southwest. So Zebulon Pike explores the Southwest of the U.S. On November 18th, he explores an 18,000-foot peak that to this day bears his name in Colorado. So that must be part of the Rocky Mountains. I've never been to Colorado, so I don't know all the names of the mountains out there. So please forgive me if you're from Colorado and I don't know. I'm from Minnesota. August 27th, 1806. Envoys commence talks with Britain. I cannot read my own writing. I'm trying to write as quick as I can so I can get these videos out to you. Envoys commence talks with Britain. Monroe and Pinckney, if you remember, they became envoys to Britain, talked to Lord Holland about naval hostilities. September 23rd, 1806, Lewis and Clark returned to St. Louis after their long trek out west. October 21st, 1806, Congress passes military organization. More about that if you want it. November 27th, 1806, Jefferson warns Americans. Jefferson informed citizens not to take part in a plot to invade the Spanish territory, which is what Aaron Burr was trying to do. December 12th, 1806, Jefferson asks for a ban on the slave trade, which comes later. February 19th, 1807, Aaron Burr is finally arrested, but not for Hamilton's death. He was arrested near Fort Stoddard, Alabama, and it was alleged that it was for the alleged conspiracy against the U.S. government. March 2nd, 1807, importation of slaves prohibited. So the laws passed prohibiting importing slaves after January 1st, 1808. So that was actually the one that came later. I think that was built off of Jefferson's asking for a ban on slave trade. Maybe. Sorry if my dates and highlights are not accurate. I mean, they're accurate as far as this, but like how they tie in together. March 12, 1807, the Embargo Act allows American goods to be transported from foreign ports. So now we're trading with the world. Keep that in mind because you are going to get a good laugh out of this. June 22nd, 1807, the Leopard incident. The British ship Leopard fires on the U.S. frigate Chesapeake in Chesapeake Bay. James Barron refused to surrender 4 British deserters, and that's why they fired on our ship. September 1st, 1807, Aaron Burr is acquitted. So the Richmond court acquits Burr of treason. So Burr is a free man. October 17th, 1807, British sea aggression. Like I said, my writing is so horrible, and I can't even read my own writing. November 11th, 1807, Britain issues Order of Council. Here is where it starts to get funny, so you'll have to forgive me if I start laughing. Forbids neutral nations and their allies from trading with France, except under tribute to England. Okay? So now December 17th, 1807, is the Milan Decree. So Napoleon counters the above with forbidding trade with England because of this tribute to England. So what does Jefferson do? December 22nd, 1807, Jefferson signs the Embargo Act. Jefferson halts all trading with any country in the world. Now, picture in your mind, those of you that have seen Hamilton, those of you that have seen Night at the Museum, picture King George from Hamilton, picture Daveed Diggs as Jefferson, and picture the guy that plays Napoleon in the Night at the Museum, whatever Night at the Museum movie that was. And picture the three of them on stage with Lin-Manuel's next play, Lin, if you're thinking of one, take note, arguing over this whole trade war thing that's going on. I just think it's so funny. I'm sorry, that is just too funny. Okay, so moving on. January 1st, 1808, slave trade ban becomes official. January 11th, 1808, the Second Embargo Act, so it becomes more stringent than the first, and it's called the Oh Grab My Act. I don't know why. April 17th, 1808, the Bayonne Decree. Napoleon allows the seizure of any U.S. vessels entering French and Italian ports because of Jefferson's Embargo Act on December 22nd, 1807. November 8th, 1805, 6th presidential election. December 7th, 1808, James Madison is elected with George Clinton serving as his vice president. So now George Clinton is serving a second term as vice president. March 1st, 1809, Congress repeals the Embargo Act, so Jefferson signs the Non-Intercourse Act the same day. This allows trade with everyone except England and France. I mean, come on, were they kindergartners that were running the countries at that time? Really? March 4th, 1809, James Madison is inaugurated. Jefferson returns to Monticello outside Charlottesville, Virginia, to do whatever the hell he does in Monticello. Okay, those are for the Hamilton people. I know, you guys are all cracking up. I told you guys we'd get a kick out of this one. So the trivia. Jefferson's wife's name was Martha, same as George Washington's. He had a lot of kids, and I don't know why some of their kids' last names were different than others. His kids, in order of oldest to youngest, was Martha Jefferson Randolph, Madison Hemmings, Easton Hemmings, Mary Jefferson, Harriet Hemmings, Lucy Elizabeth Jefferson, another Lucy Elizabeth Jefferson, I'm not sure if it's the same one, but they were listed separately, Peter Jefferson, and Jane Randolph Jefferson. So I'm not sure, he was only married once, so I'm not sure why 3 of his kids' names have the last name of Hemmings rather than Jefferson. I didn't do that much research. But that's the trivia. So now, tomorrow, we talk about, I've already forgotten who he was, James Madison, who became our 4th U.S. president, and George Clinton, who became his vice president. So tune in tomorrow for James Madison. There might be more interesting information about him. I may have to do different parts to different presidents depending on how much they accomplished as their highlights in office. So I will try to get those all done in one day and upload them all in one day so that you have all the information in one day, so I'm not separating them out and expanding it even further than I already have to. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. I hope you guys are enjoying these historical highlights of the presidents in office. And if you want any other information about future presidents, please leave your comments below, and I will try to include those in future videos. So I hope you enjoyed this 2-parter, and we will see you guys on the next one. See you guys tomorrow for James Madison, and I will try to get back into doing like regular videos. I'm thinking of maybe doing a part 2 to the abuse videos. That one was a 6-month thought to put that out there, so that one took a lot of thought before I actually made that video, but I'm thinking of maybe doing a part 2 to that. But in any case, this is presidential highlights. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you guys are having a great day, and we will see you guys tomorrow for James Madison. Have a sunny day.